as I was listening, we talked about this before. We talked about it up in your office. But as you were doing it here, I would argue a little bit with you about the placement of the Occupy Wall Street people.
Where would you put them?
I might put them on the other side. I might put them close to totalitarian, because their argument is not no government whatsoever. Their argument is using government to redistribute money.
I'll go there if you make them just useful idiots. Because they're claiming that they're all about freedom and anarchy and no government, but they're really not.
There's no claim for that at all. There's no sort of, they want to have huge amounts of regulation.
Yes.
They want a huge amount of stomping down on Wall Street and moving that money back. And that whole 1% thing, I mean 90%, they are all in the 1% of the world.
Right.
And that's the part that's, in order to make that argument, in order to be as rich as the Occupy Wall Street people are, you have to completely ignore the whole world. I mean, 300 million people in the United States is a very small number when you're talking about knocking on 7 billion worldwide. Those people are all, every single one of them, in the 1%, and every single one of them pays a cell phone bill every month that is the yearly income for a family in much of the rest of the world. They
will try to be perceived as anarchists. They hang out with anarchists.
I know.
So I mean, I think they're useful idiots, and which puts them again on the Stalin side.
Just, I think, your whole line here is, to me, how much freedom do you want?
Yes.
And the idea, the way I sum up the Constitution, is we do the minimum amount of government we can have that assures individual liberties. It's all about it. And I was saying this back to you. People talk about it being a Judeo-Christian country, being built on Christian values, which, as an atheist, I believe in completely. But the most important Christian value it's built on is Martin Luther's idea of forming Protestantism, that the individual communes with his God.
Yes.
The individual makes that decision. It's not top-down, it's individual. And individualism is the idea that is most important in the U.S. And I would just say that whole slide is, how far can we go? What's the minimum we can go in government that gives every individual as much freedom as possible?
That's what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
And would you agree that we're about there?
Yeah.
Maybe a little farther?
Maybe a little farther, because there's this idea that you can vote yourself money.
Yes.
And that rights are something other than what you can do alone on an island.
So here's the thing. There has to be a groundbreaking shift in people's thinking, and it's in a very small way. It's why I just partnered with Vince Vaughn, because I want people to look at that and go, wait, one of these things just doesn't belong. Yeah. Vince Vaughn and Glenn Beck, how does that work?
Yeah.
And short circuit what they think they know.
Well, the thing that bothers me the most about all of this is tribalism. I think tribalism, pride in a group of people, is the most negative thing we have. It stops people from going across different lines. And it bothers me on sports teams. I'm not a sports guy. It bothers me on all of this that you can be, and we've gone through this a million times. I won't do it again. But, Tommy Smothers attacking me because I went on your show, because he sees me as part of his tribe and you're a different tribe and I'm not supposed to do that. Whereas the idea of the marketplace of ideas is that everybody talks to everybody. And the fact that we disagree so much on religion is the reason we should be talking.
Yes.
And the reason we should be sticking up for each other.
Yes.
I mean, there's a science fiction writer that said, if you could convince the gun people that the dope people were okay, and the dope people that the gun people were okay, everyone in the country was libertarian.